Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah. Nahmadu wa nusalli ala rasulihil kareem. This is the evening when every week we sit together and discuss remembers the history and the life of Mashaikh, the elders who have by whose sacrifices and contributions today this ummah, us especially the Indian subcontinent, is Muslim. So Alhamdulillah, we discussed Hazrat Maulana uh, Ashraf Ali Thanwi Alhamdulillah alayhi recently, and from the notes of his student Mufti Muhammad Shafi rahimahullah. And before Maulana Hakim al-Ummat rahmatullah alayhi, we discussed Shaykh al-Hind, Maulana Mahmud al-Hasan rahimahullah. These were the people who worked hard, strived strive in such a way we can't even comprehend and understand. And Shaykh al-Hind rahmatullah alayhi, Maulana Mahmud al-Hasan, his devotion towards the Islam and the freedom for the Muslims so they can practice and revive the Iman and Islam. And he passed away in 1920. Amongst his students was Hazrat Maulana Ashraf Ali Thanwi rahmatullah alayhi. He worked hard, tireless, day and night, wrote hundreds of books, and his unki nasihateं, unki baateं, उनके काम, उनकी तफसीर, उनकी हदीस पर काम, उनके अलग अलग उन्वान पर काम बेइंतहा जिंदगी का हर लम्हा कीमती बनाया. I once visited Thana Bhawan where Maulana Ashraf Ali Thanwi used to reside. I seen the place where he used to sit and offer his salah, meditation, and writes the book. It is a simple corner, subhanallah. But however, that corner blessed the ummah. So these people were simple in their lifestyle and devoted towards the cause of life. So Maulana Ashraf Ali Thanwi, and now the other student of Hazrat Maulana Mahmud al-Hasan rahimahullah, the senior student of Maulana Mahmud al-Hasan rahimahullah, his name is Allamah Anwar Shah Kashmiri rahimahullah, very famous scholar. And he also devoted his life, every moment of his life. ये लोग ऐसे थे अजीब, इनकी जिंदगी का हर लम्हा अजीब था. हर लम्हे में वो अपने मौला को इस तरह राजी करते थे, मौला के लिए फना, हुजूर सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम के लिए फना, and उम्मत के लिए फना, दीन के लिए फना. Their every moment of their life they were devoted to Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Always focused, not a moment in their lifetime it appears where they used to spend the time in the luxury of this dunya, focused towards the akhirah, devoted, as if these people were living in this dunya or part of akhirah. ये ऐसे लोग थे जैसा कि दुनिया में जिंदगी गुजारते थे मगर ये थे ही आखिरत के, मगर थे ही ये लोग जन्नत के. इनको मजा आता था दीन में, इनको मजा आता था किताबों में, इनको मजा आता था जिक्र में, इनको मजा आता था कुरान में, तफसीर में, और दुनिया की किसी चीज में इनको लज्जत आती नहीं थी. So amongst the teachers of Mufti Muhammad Shafi rahimahullah, the notes we are reading and discussing and comprehending are the notes of Mufti Muhammad Shafi rahimahullah, who was the student of Allamah Anwar Shah Kashmiri and who was the student of Maulana Mahmud al-Hasan rahimahullah. And Allamah Anwar Shah Kashmiri rahimahullah, he was a great scholar. He also passed away at the similar time, 1933. Not too late from his teacher, because he learned from him at the same time. He was the mu'asir, wa hum asar bhi the Maulana Mahmud al-Hasan rahimahullah ke. However, let's begin what the notes of Mufti Muhammad Shafi rahimahullah. He writes, he says, Mufti that Allamah Anwar Shah Kashmiri has a great contribution in shaping the mind of Mufti Shafi rahimahullah. कि Allamah Anwar Shah Kashmiri की बहुत contribution था और बहुत हिस्सा था मुफ्ती मोहम्मद शफी साहब को मुकम्मल बनाने में और मुफ्ती मोहम्मद शफी साहब को बनाने में और उनकी तरबियत करने में. ये बड़ों का ही जूतियां सुईदी करने ही का सिलसिला होता है जो नसीब होता है. It is always the fruits we see amongst us between amidst of the scholar. It is always the devotion they have given to their teachers, Allah in return, Allah grant them the knowledge. This is the सीना, this is the system. हमारे उस्ताद कहा करते थे इल्म सीना बसीना होता है, और रूहानियत का हो या ज़ाहिरी इल्म हो या बातिनी इल्म हो. Our teacher used to say the knowledge is passed by through the chest to chest. The Quran, the Hadith, you name it. It's not by from the text. The text is the actual living content or living tablet. However, the ruhaniya, the spirituality, the understanding, the comprehension comes through chest to chest. So Mawlana Ashraf Ali Thanvi rahmatullah, Mawlana Allamah Sayyid Anwar Shah Kashmiri rahimahullah was expert in Sahih al-Bukhari, and Mufti Muhammad Shafi learned Sahih al-Bukhari through him, and Jami' al-Tirmidhi through him, and modern philosophy and medicine, among other academic disciplines. During his teaching career, he also drew upon Mawlana Kashmiri. His face would beam with a joy with Allama Kashmiri's name whenever he's been mentioned. So Mufti Muhammad Shafi, whenever he mentions Mawlana Anwar Shah Kashmiri, his teacher's name, so the people used to realize his face is beaming the moment he mentioned the Allama Kashmiri rahimahullah's name. ये तालिब इल्म का उस्ताद से ताल्लुक होता है, devotion. He always spoke to him with tremendous admiration and deep love. जब भी बात करते थे अपने उस्ताद अल्लामा अनवर शाह कश्मीरी की, बड़े एक मोहब्बत के साथ, बड़ी मोहब्बत के साथ बयान करते थे. The incident recounted below are mentioned by Muhammad Shafi rahimahullah. So Allah has blessed Allama Kashmiri with an exceptional memory and astounding knowledge. राग लिखते हैं कि अल्लाह ने उनको बहुत ज़बरदस्त ज़हानत और बहुत ज़बरदस्त याददाश्त दी थी. And उसको समझाने के लिए कहा जाता है कि Mufti Muhammad Shafi rahmatullah narrates his own student. He was teaching a book called Mullah Hassan, which book is written on the logic, and in the Darul Deoband. So he was stuck at one place, and he went to Allama Anwar Shah Kashmiri rahimahullah. He was grasping, and whenever someone visited Allama Kashmiri rahmatullah, they always found him. They always found him with the books. जब भी किसी ने भी अल्लामा कश्मीरी की ज़ियारत की, हमेशा उनके हाथ में किताबों को पाया. And my teacher used to say frequently, many times, someone asked Maulana Allamah Anwar Shah Kashmiri, how did you attain a photographic memory? जो पढ़ते थे वो हूबहू याद हो जाता था. How did you attain a photographic memory? किस तरह आपको ये इतनी बड़ी ज़हानत मिली है? तो उन्होंने जवाब में ये कहा कि मैंने किताबों का अदब किया है. So if you have seen in olden days, the books the books were written. I'll give an example to you. Just a second. Yeah, I found an example here. So this is Al-Hidayah, very beautiful book on Hanafi fiqh. So we studied this book as well. So if you see, this book is written, the main text is in the middle, and then you can see there are notes on here, notes on this side, and notes on this side. So it is said about Mawlana Allamah Shah Kashmiri, he used to keep the book on the desk. And when he wants to read the book, the text from the side notes, or sometimes it's written here, sometimes it's written on the top. So rather turning the book towards him, he used to turn himself towards the book. So sitting here and reading the book, and he wants to read these notes. So he will turn himself here at this place and read these notes. He wants to read these notes, and he will go the other side and read these notes. Rather turning the book towards him, he used to turn himself around the book, and he used to say the book is not the book deserves the respect. I am in need of the knowledge. मुझे इल्म का मोहताज हूँ, ना कि किताब इल्म की मोहताज है, मैं इल्म का मोहताज हूँ तो मैं ही चारों तरफ किताब के फिरूंगा. This was the beautiful act of our Maulana Allama Kashmiri, our teacher, used to give an example to us to make us understand the adab and respect. However, so Mufti Muhammad Shafi Sahib rahimahullah says that at one occasion I went to Allama Kashmiri rahimahullah, and he was sitting at one corner and upstairs library and engrossed in the study. On seeing me, he greeted me and asked me if I could be of assistance. So जैसा उनसे मुलाकात हुई, सलाम किया और कहा कि मैं आपकी कुछ मदद कर सकता हूँ. To the point, straight to the point, मैं आपकी कुछ मदद कर सकता हूँ. कोई हाल चाल पूछना और यानी गपशप लगाना, this was not part of their life. Always focused and devoted. When I told him about my problem, I thought he would call me upstairs. So I said, I'm teaching Mullah Hassan a book. I can't understand a paragraph. I need to understand. So I thought he will call me upstairs next to him and make me sat down and read the text and explain me. Instead of this, he said, read out the passage from where you are, without troubling me to go upstairs. That's what Mufti Muhammad Shafi says. And the moment I start reading, he said he anticipated my difficulty before I could even begin to point out. Then he explained it with clarity while still sitting there, and the issue was resolved, and I left. Subhanallah. So he says, Mufti Muhammad Shafi says, in tafsir, in hadith, in fiqh, in other books, he would have done that. I would have, it wouldn't be amazed me. अगर ये काम उन्होंने मेरे तफसीर के लिए, हदीस के लिए या फिक के लिए किया होता तो मुझे उतनी हैरत नहीं होती. मगर ये जो मंतकी बुक थी मुल्ला हसन, इसके लिए किया, जो इतनी पेचीदा बुक है, जिसको पढ़े बगैर, जिसका टेक्स्ट पढ़े बगैर समझ में नहीं आती, उन्होंने बस इशारा देते ही समझकर सारा मौजू समझा दिया. तो कहा मैं तो बहुत हैरान हुआ. So this kind of caliber he had, subhanallah. Allamah Anwar Shah Kashmiri rahimahullah. And ek dafa us sabak mein, he told us on one day while discussing an issue arising in Sahih al-Bukhari, he quoted a long passage from Fathul Qadir, and fluently the students thought the book was open in front of him. तो जब किताब सबक पढ़ा रहे थे, तो ही सबक पढ़ाते बुखारी का उन्होंने एक फतहुल क़दीर, एक हनफी बुक है, हिदाया की शरह है, तो उसके बारे में उन्होंने कहना शुरू किया. लिखी हुई है ये किताब शेख कमालुद्दीन मोहम्मद इब्ने अब्दुल वाहिद अल सिवासी, और ये लिखी हुई है किताब 1457 में. हम तो 2021 में है, तो 1457 में. So however, तो जैसा उन्होंने ये बुखारी का सबक पढ़ाते fluently एक passage को रेफर किया. While teaching Bukhari, he referred the passage from Fathul Qadir. And he said, the student thought the book is in front of him and he's referring from the book. So he said, oh ignorant ones. यानी कैसे तलबा को ऐसी मजाक से कहा, ए जाहिल बच्चों, do you think I studied the passage last night for this lecture? बच्चे तो समझ रहे थे किताब खुली हुई है. वो कहने लगे तुम ये समझ रहे हो कि मैंने गुज़िश्ता रात को इस मौजू को पढ़ा और तुम्हें रेफर कर रहा हूँ. And वो कहने लगे actually I had thoroughly studied Fiqh al-Qadir few years ago in library in Tonk. There's a town called Tonk. Since then the passage has engraved on my memory. तो कहने लगे ये ऐसा नहीं कि मैं कल पढ़ा हूँ या मेरे सामने किताब खुली है. मैंने एक चंद साल पहले टोंक में उसके कुतुब खाने में ये मौजू पढ़ा था. जब से ही ये बात मेरे दिमाग में बैठ चुकी है, ये मौजू मेरे दिमाग में बैठ चुका. This is what Allama Kashmiri rahimahullah was. A photographic memory, subhanallah, very clean and pure heart. And ek dafa, at another occasion, Allama Kashmiri rahimahullah became ill, and his illness prolonged. One day in Fajr time, the rumor spread out that he passed away. So people rushed to his house, Mufti Muhammad Shafi Sahib and Allama Shabir Usmani Sahib. On reaching there, they found that it was a rumor, not a reality. However, in acute pain, when we called on him, we found him sitting on Mufti Muhammad Shafi Sahib states, When in acute pain, we called on him, and we found him sitting on the mat, and there is a book on the pillow, and he was poring over that book in a dim light. And it was a matter of both surprise and concern. यानी इनको उनको हैरानगी भी हुई और अजीब भी लगा कि इतने बीमार, इतनी सख्त तकलीफ में भी हैं, मगर किताब हाथ में है और सर किताब में है और हल्की सी लाइट खुली हुई है. तो अल्लामा शब्बीर अहमद उस्मानी ने कहा, अल्लामा शब्बीर अहमद उस्मानी said to him, there seems to be nothing that it is outside of your knowledge. Even if some news has arisen, why must you address right now? कि ऐसा तो नहीं लगता कि ऐसी कोई बात आपके इल्म में ना हो. अगर कोई ऐसा नया सवाल आया है जो आपके इल्म में नहीं, जिसकी वजह से आपको किताब खोलने की जरूरत पड़ी है, पढ़ने की जरूरत पड़ी है, हम जिंदा है, आप हमें बता देते. You should have deferred to us. We would have read it and understand and express it to you, summarize it to you. So in return, Allama Kashmir rahimahullah started looking sympathetically and innocently and said, Maulana Usmani said to Maulana Usmani, brother, you are right. Bhai Sahib, आप सही कह रहे हैं. However, studying books is an illness itself. मगर किताबों क्या पढ़ना ही मेरे लिए एक बीमारी है, और इस बीमारी का नजात क्या है, इस बीमारी की दवा क्या है. So this is how, even in their acute pain and serious pain, the leisure they used to get is by reading, the understanding and comprehending the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The spirituality, the leisure, the feel, the good peace, tranquility, everything of this dunya and hereafter, they used to feel in devoting themselves to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. दुनिया की भी खैरखाही, आखिरत की भी खैरखाही, दुनिया का भी सुकून. ये नहीं अच्छे खानों में मजा आ रहा है, अच्छे शरबतों में मजा आ रहा है, या अच्छे दोस्तों में मजा आ रहा, यानी दोस्त गप्पे शप्पे में मजा आ रहा है, या सैर तफरीह में मजा आ रहा है. They were devoted. उनको किसी चीज में मजा नहीं आता था मगर उसमें जिसमें अल्लाह की जात, अल्लाह की तालीमात हो, अल्लाह की दीन की तालीमात हो, आका करीम सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम की तालीमात हो. They used to only enjoy these faculties where there is the teachings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And Allama Kashmiri was so devoted to his academic pursuit that he had no idea of worldly matters. वो दुनिया के झमेलों में पड़ते ही नहीं थे. Dealing with low profile issues was beyond him. घर में ये हमें ये चाहिए, वो चाहिए, ये चाहिए, ये वो सब चीजें, घर का पेन, घर के सोफे, ये सब beyond him. Since his colleagues and students knew his nature, लोगों को उनके मिजाज का पता था, उनके दोस्तों के, उनके तलबा को. So they used to take care of his domestic affairs. उनको पता था इनको दुनिया की कोई पड़ी भी नहीं है, तो वही उनकी दुनिया का ख्याल रख ले रहे थे. One day while he was sitting in the mosque, someone informed him the roof of his room has collapsed. तो मस्जिद में बैठे थे, किताब पढ़ रहे थे, किसी ने बताया कि आपका कमरे का रूम गिर पड़ा. तो वो सोचे कि उसको ये बात सुनकर शॉक हो, he will be shocked on hearing the news. But Allama Kashmiri said, okay. He did not move inch away from his place. वो एक सेंटीमीटर, एक इंच अपनी जगह से नहीं हिले, और कहा मैं कर भी क्या सकता हूँ. What can I do? Why don't you go and inform Maulana Habibur Rahman, who was the Maulana Habib, who was the chancellor of Darul Deoband. So यही खबर उनको बताई गई, उनका रूम रिपेयर हुआ. So Mufti Shafi Sahib stated that Allah had granted Allama Kashmiri knowledge of all disciplines. And Allama Kashmiri used to say, if I want to easily imitate the writings of such accomplished masters, बाज़ दफ़ा जोश में आकर मुफ्ती अल्लामा कश्मीरी कहते थे कि जो great scholars who have passed away, जो great मशाइख, बड़े मशाइख थे जो दुनिया से गुजर चुके हैं, उन्होंने अदब पर बड़ी बड़ी किताबें लिखी हैं, अगर मुझे किसी ने कहा कि उसको कॉपी कर दो जहन से, दिमाग से, तो मैं कॉपी कर दूं. If I want to imitate the writings of Hariri and Zamakhshari and Jurjani, I would done it. किसी ने मुझे कहा कि अगर इन बड़े जिन्होंने उलमा समझते हैं, हरीरी, मकामात अल-हरीरी बहुत ज़बरदस्त अदब की किताब है, ज़मख़शरी और जुरजानी की अल-शर में तामिल, और उनकी बलागत में भी किताबें हैं, कि अगर मुझे किसी ने कहा ये किताबें लिख दो, मैं लिख दूं बगैर रेफर किए हुए, बगैर देखे हुए. If someone asks me to write these books, I can do it. It is impossible for us to comprehend, to understand one page. It takes hours of effort. घंटों की मेहनत होती है एक सफ़ा समझने के लिए. This kind of the books are these. Subhanallah. And वो कहते हैं I can imitate them, I can copy them. However, there are two works who can get in the ocean of knowledge. Subhanallah. Nothing is difficult for me except there are two works. दो किताबें ऐसी है जो मैं कॉपी नहीं कर सकता हूँ. I cannot copy them. One is Al-Hidayah and one is Gulistan. Hidayah is luckily that same book which I showed you earlier, Allama Murghayani ki beautiful book on Hanafi fiqh. वो कहा ये I cannot copy it by memory. और गुलिस्तान शेख सादी रहमतुल्लाह अलैह की तसव्वुफ के ऊपर एक प्यारी किताब है, one book on tasawwuf written by Sheikh Saadi rahmatullah alayh. So he said these two books I cannot copy them. So, and subhanallah, they were what they can do, they were upright and speaking up for it, and what they cannot do, they never felt ashamed to say it. And subhanallah, what he can do, maybe the whole community and hundreds of people get together, they cannot do itself. That what he can do was great, so great that hundreds and thousands of people get together and put all brains together, सबके दिमाग एक जगह लगा दो, तब भी हम सब मिलकर नहीं कर सकते थे जो वो अकेले किया करते थे. अल्लामा कश्मीर रहमतुल्लाह अलैह. However, he says I can imitate any book, but there are few books. Amongst them is the Hidayah and Gulistan. I cannot copy them. So this was the Allama. So this was the beautiful nature of these great scholars. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us from those who follow their footsteps. We'll continue next week. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.